to Channel 7's Nightline News at 11, bringing you news from all across Scotland, the Western Isles, and beyond. I'm your host, John Zehr. We have an update this evening regarding the ongoing war between our great nation and Norway. We are proud to announce that a major victory has been won over the Norwegian oppressors due to, in no small part, the heroic efforts of Macbeth, a general in the Scottish army. We now go live to our field reporter who is standing by with a soldier who fought in the battle.
Captain, how was the battle?
Aye, 'twas a brutal one for sure. We lost a lot of good men out there, but at the end of the day we were able to drive out the Norwegian dogs, so I suppose it's all that really matters, ain't it?
Indeed, indeed. And what role did Macbeth play?
Aye, he was the most courageous of them all. The enemy fought viciously, but all's too weak. For brave Macbeth, well, he deserved that name. Disdaining fortune with his brandished steel, which smoked with bloody execution, like valor's minion, carved out his passage through the enemy. With nothing but his longsword, he charged forward fiercely, fighting thousands of soldiers at once. If it weren't for his efforts, we'd all be dead.
Thank you. Certainly a harrowing skirmish. Truly we are lucky to have Macbeth on our side. Back to you.
Thanks, John. Valiant Macbeth, a true hero of Scotland, won't soon be forgotten. If only we all possessed the courage, selflessness, and humility so embodied within him. Good night, everyone. Rise and shine, Scotland, and welcome to Good Morning Scotland, which is always a great way to start your morning. I'm your host, John Zehr. We have a developing story this morning, as it appears that 3 witches, commonly known in the villages as the Weird Sisters, were in contact with Macbeth and his friend Banquo, another nobleman. We now go live to the scene where our field reporter is standing by with Banquo himself.
Banquo, tell us what you saw.
Right. So Macbeth and I were out riding and talking, when all of a sudden we felt a chill in the air, as if the air had run cold. We sensed a presence nearby, and sure enough, there in front of us stood 3 indistinguishable figures rising out of the ground like some malevolent weeds. Upon closer inspection, we were able to identify them as the Weird Sisters, 3 cunning, albeit usually harmless, which is known to harass some villagers from time to time.
And what did they tell you?
Here's where things get a little interesting. So they told Macbeth that he would be the king of Scotland, and they told me that, while I would not become king myself, my sons would. Additionally, they referred to Macbeth as a Thane of Cawdor, which I found odd, as there already was a Thane of Cawdor at the time. But sure enough, our friends arrived and told us that Macbeth was to be proclaimed Thane of Cawdor, as the prior one had been executed for treason or something. So I suppose that one part of the prophecy has been fulfilled.
How do you feel about all this?
You know, something about it just doesn't sit right with me. 'Tis strange. And oftentimes, to win us to our harm, the instruments of darkness tell us truths, win us with honest trifles, to betray us in deepest consequence. I fear that Macbeth may let his ambition overtake him.
Thanks, Banquo. Back to you.
Certainly an interesting story. Is it just conniving witchery, or something more? Is Macbeth truly destined to be king? Only time shall tell. Be sure to stay tuned to Channel 7 for all updates regarding this fascinating story. We are receiving reports at this time. Yes. Confirmed? Understood. It has just been confirmed that at approximately 1 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time, King Duncan of Scotland was found dead, stabbed several times as he slept. Allegedly, he was murdered by his guards, who were killed by Macbeth and found dead next to him in his chamber. He was 52 years old, which put him 52 years older than the current life expectancy. We now go live to the scene where Lady Macbeth is standing by with our reporter. Infirm of purpose, give me the dag. Oh, hello there. 1 second.
Lady Macbeth, what are your thoughts on the king's murder?
Our king? King Duncan? He's been murdered? Oh, what a tragedy! Wherefore hath this happened? Oh, there is no ruler, nay, no man, as noble, kingly, and stoic as Duncan.
How he led with such grace and majesty. If only I could have been awake, I'd have done all in my power to prevent his slaughter. Scotland simply shimmered under his rule. Oh, help me, hence ho!
Clearly a very distraught Lady Macbeth, and all of Scotland gently weeps with her tonight at the death of our goodly king. The question now, succession of the throne. It is our understanding that Malcolm and Donalbain, the king's sons, have since fled the nation, meaning that the throne appears to fall on Macbeth, Thane of Cawdor and Glamis. Thus, it appears that yet another portion of the prophecy is fulfilled. The perpetrators of this dastardly deed are still unknown at the moment, but a crack team of investigators is on the case as we speak, and will bring the killer or killers to justice. In my humble opinion, the blame lies with Malcolm or Donalbain, who I suspect may have paid the guards to carry out the killings. It is quite odd how they fled the nation so fast, but with no clear motive. This is a mere hunch, at best. We'll keep you posted as new information comes to light. Good night, everyone, and may God save Scotland. We have breaking news this evening. It appears that Banquo, a local nobleman, general in the Scottish army, and friend to our dear King Macbeth, is dead. He was out riding with his son Fleance when they were set upon by murderers. Fleance managed to escape, however Banquo was not so lucky. This tragedy comes just days after King Duncan was brutally murdered in his sleep. Are these untimely deaths just an unfortunate coincidence? Or is something more sinister at play? We now go down to Macbeth, the King of Scotland himself, for his thoughts on the unfortunate death of his friend.
Macbeth, hail King of Scotland. Thank you for joining us. Please, have a seat. Macbeth, you can take a seat.
I can't sit there.
Here's a place reserved, sir.
Where?
Here, my good lord.
That seat's taken. Avaunt, and quit my sight. Let the earth hide thee. Thy bones are marrowless, thy blood is cold. Thou hast no speculation in those eyes which thou dost glare with. Hence, horrible shadow, unreal mockery, hence! Go!
Strange behavior from Macbeth. What could cause a man to behave in such a bizarre way? Perhaps the death of his king and loyal friend have truly harmed him. Or perhaps it is he committing the murders, motivated by ambition, greed, and an insatiable lust for power? No, certainly not. Valiant Macbeth is too loyal, too selfless to betray his king and country. My only hope is that Scotland may find peace under his reign. Good night, everyone.
Rise and shine, Scotland, and welcome back to Good Morning Scotland, now sponsored by Angus Haggis. Double toil and delicious. Feast yourself on some Angus Haggis today. And speaking of today we have an exclusive interview with Lennox, a lord who claims that Macbeth was talking with the three witches earlier. We'll go down to him now. Lennox, tell us what you saw.
Well, I didn't actually see nothing myself. But I came across Macbeth, who asked me if I saw witches or something, and I suspect that he may have been in contact with the Weird Sisters. Anyways, I told him I hadn't seen no witches, and afterwards he muttered something about Macduff's family and just sort of wandered off. And what do you make of the recent murders? Truth be told, I think it might be Macbeth. I mean, he's a common denominator in all this, ain't he? Duncan, the guards, Banquo, all killed near Macbeth's castle. Also, doesn't just seem a little convenient that the king and Banquo, a potential challenge to Macbeth's reign, just happen to die days apart, leaving Macbeth on an uncontested throne? It all just seems a little odd to me. Also, I think that Macbeth's putting fluoride in the water. Interesting theory indeed. Back to you, John. Could it be? Perhaps it is Macbeth after all, behind the curtain, orchestrating the murders of these noble men. How could one so valiant and brave be turned against his fellow man so easily? Oh, Scotland, shall you ever know peace? In the meantime, you can feast yourself on some Angus Haggis absolutely delicious today. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Macbeth Network Programming, the most trusted name in news. We have some misconceptions to clear up tonight. Now, we are aware of the rumors that Macbeth is the perpetrator of these unspeakable murders that have been plaguing our country, that Macbeth was motivated by nothing more than a malicious desire to keep his place on the throne. Well, I'm here to tell you that these rumors are absolutely and verifiably false. These acts are nothing more than an unfortunate series of events, and our good King Macbeth is hard at work to track down the criminals and bring them to justice. And just do us a favor. If you hear anyone blame the deaths on Macbeth, kindly report them to the appropriate authorities. Secondly, many of you have probably noticed that Macduff, a local nobleman, has seemingly fled our great country. Now there are rumors going around that he has gone to England to get help in overthrowing Macbeth. But these rumors are also false, of course. Macduff is nothing more than a coward who fled out of fear of being killed, leaving behind his defenseless wife and children in the process. And to those who feel unsafe in Scotland, or feel that they suddenly have significantly less food than before, or feel that there have been an unusually large spike in state executions, you have absolutely nothing to worry about because Scotland is actually more prosperous than ever before. If, however, you still feel that one or more of these things are true, you should probably just keep it to yourself. And no, Russia did not interfere to put Macbeth on the throne. Alright, did I do everything yet? I did everything. Long live Macbeth! Long live the king, the greatest king to ever rule Scotland. Breaking news from Dunsinane Hill, as it appears a massive battle has broken out between the English forces and Scottish rebels led by Macduff, who indeed are attempting to remove Macbeth from the throne, and Macbeth himself and his loyalists. We go now live to the scene where our reporter is standing by with Macbeth, the king, himself. Hang out our banners on the outward walls. The cry is still, they come! Our castle's strength will laugh a siege to scorn. Here, let them lie till famine and the ague eat them up. We might have met them dareful beard to beard, and beat them backward home.
Hail Macbeth! Hail King of Scotland! This is one crazy battle. How are you feeling?
I'll fight till from my bones my flesh be hacked, but I have no fear of death. For when I spoke with the witches, the three of them said that no man born of woman shall leave Macbeth dead.
Turn, hellhound! Turn!
Thou losest labor. I bear a charmed life which must not yield to one of woman born. But lay on, Macduff, and damned be him who first cries, hold! Enough! Turns out Macduff was born of a C-section, so he wasn't technically born of woman. And so ends the tyranny of Macbeth. Yet another sad tale of a noble king corrupted by the poison of power. In other news, Lady Macbeth was found dead in her bedroom early this morning. It seems the knowledge that her husband took so many innocent lives was simply too much to bear. Or perhaps she was the true mastermind behind it all. We may never know for sure. And thus ends yet another bloody chapter in Scotland's great history. But before we go this evening, we have a brief interview with Malcolm, the new King of Scotland.
Hail Malcolm! Hail King of Scotland! What are your thoughts on being king?
'Tis an honor to be the one who will restore compassion, prosperity, and stability to Scotland. I will do everything in my limitless and unchecked power to restore Scotland to the glorious state it was in, under the noble hand of my father Duncan. If only he could see me now.
And what changes do you have in mind for Scotland?
Firstly, I will punish all those who aided Macbeth in his reign of terror. They will swiftly meet cold and severe justice. Afterwards, I will bring back all goodly men who were banished from our land while it was in Macbeth's iron grip. I also hereby pronounce all thanes to be earls, noble and divine servants of the king. Truly, Scotland shall be reborn like the mighty phoenix under my rule. God bless Scotland! Thank you, Malcolm. I feel this is the dawn of a new golden age for Scotland. How lucky we are to witness it. In an hour, we'll go down to our international correspondent in Italy, who has an update regarding the war that has just broken out between two of Italy's noble families, the Montagues and the Capulets. But until then, This is John Zehr for Channel 7 News, signing off. You stay classy, Scotland. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day to the last syllable of recorded time, and all our yesterdays have lighted fools. The way to dusty death, out, out, brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.